Hi, I'm Rick Kaler, and thanks for joining me. Well, Boomerang Kids sounds like a TV reality show. Kids grow up, kids move out, kids get into financial trouble, kids move back in with mom and dad. In real life, there's really nothing particularly entertaining about adult children moving in with their parents. The situation is often a response to a financial or a life crisis, and it can result in family tension and conflict that's anything but funny. For anyone considering this option, here's some important points to think about and discuss ahead of time. First, have a clear end in sight. Don't allow a child who's in financial trouble to move in just until she gets back on her feet. This vague arrangement is asking for trouble. Instead, assess the child's circumstances together with them. Agree on clear goals such as paying off credit card debt or finding a full-time job. Establish a clearly identifiable trigger for moving out, such as 3 months from the date you find a full-time job. An open-ended agreement based on paying off debt or accumulating a certain amount of debt or even finding a full-time job is sometimes too easy to extend indefinitely. So the more specific you can be, the better. Number 2, charge rent. And if the goal is to help the child save money, charging rent really seems quite counterproductive. Yet it's important for the child to contribute to the household expenses, and even more important for them not to get used to a budget that doesn't include rent. Check local ads to find out how much rent to charge, what would be fair, and you want to look for a sleeping room, not necessarily a one-bedroom apartment, but a sleeping room maybe with a kitchen and laundry privileges. Then add in a reasonable amount for groceries or other expenses that you have, or agree to split the grocery bill. Whatever you do, you want to be fair and reasonable to all parties involved. Now, the amount you come up with ought to be less, like I said, than the cost of a one-bedroom apartment. If you can afford it, you could even stash the rent in a savings account and give it back to the child as a surprise moving out gift. Better yet, just say you'll get it all back when you move out. That might be incentive enough. Now, if the child is in such financial crisis that paying rent is simply not possible, agree on services that the child can do for you, like cooking, yard work, house cleaning, what have you, in lieu of the rent. It's really important that they have some responsibility for their occupancy costs. Third, agree on a recovery plan. Help the child create and agree to follow a bare bones budget. It might include commitments to buy clothes at second-hand stores, get rid of car payments by replacing a more expensive car with a clunker, or spending just a very small allowance on entertainment. Again, it's also essential to agree on consequences for not following the plan, and even the fact that you're going to be auditing the plan. This can bring up some real issues between parents and children. The child might feel like, once again, they're the child. However, you might remind them that they're asking for your help. They're living under your roof, and these are guidelines necessary for you to be okay with that arrangement. Number 4, focus on learning and changing behavior. If the child is in trouble because of destructive financial behaviors, it could be really appropriate for parents to monitor their spending and make sure those commitments are being kept. Do your best to do this as a mentor and a teacher rather than a parent or being punitive. Focus on one issue. How can this experience help you learn to manage money differently? Fifth is put this in writing. Be aware of unvoiced expectations and unwritten contracts. Have your agreements in writing. Everything from when they move out to what the triggering events are, to the use of the parents' cars, to rules about entertaining overnight guests, everything you can think of. Include the same issues you would cover if you were renting space to a stranger. Number 6, don't give until it hurts. Be realistic about what you can afford. Don't spend your retirement fund or borrow to help an adult child. In the long run, sacrificing your own financial health is harmful for everybody involved, including the child. All too often, parents who allow an adult child to move home end up enabling them. So every one of these decisions is a very individual decision. And finding the right answer means focusing on how to provide a helping hand to your child rather than a handout. Thanks for listening.